Hi there. Today we're going to talk about our loft bed. We're going to make a bed in the back of our Sprinter that's going to be about this high off the ground so that we can put our mountain bikes underneath. And we've seen lots of kits online for different bed frames, anywhere from $1,000 all the way up to, in one case, $3,000. But we're going to do ours for about $67. We found all these bed frames at the secondhand store, and we're going to hack these up and make our own bed frame. So we'll show you how we're going to do that next. Just like that. One of the bed frames we bought was a different style of bed frame. It's the kind like this that takes a solid oak headboard and footboard at each end. So you can see right here, it's got this assembly that bolts to the oak headboard. This one just happens to work perfectly to go on the side of the van here. We've put it up with rivet nuts through here, which we showed in a previous video. And now what we're going to do is just measure across here and figure out, looks like about 67.5 inches. So we're going to cut the frames, the other frames, to put crosswise here. So we'll go do that now. 67.5, like that. Okay. Cut that. Okay, well, it's a little bit long, but that's a good thing because we can always cut a little bit off. So we didn't cut it too short, which is awesome. Also, we already have a hole here, which is cool because we can put a bolt right through there. So that's nice. This is actually going to sit flat like this once we're done. So we're going to have to cut a little bit away from this side too, so that it will be able to lay, you know, like that on here. So we'll cut a little bit away from that, cut about 1/4 inch off the end, and I think we'll be good to go. Okay, we got 7 of these cut. They're right here. You can see they're all in place. That's how they're gonna lay. This shows the cutaway we did so that they'll lay flat. So the next thing we need to do is just mark and drill holes here for the ones that don't have holes. And then we'll put bolts through and bolt this thing together. And there's the base for our bed. So you can barely see it. I marked with a Sharpie right there. So there's our hole point. All right, we got all the holes drilled, and as you can see, we spray painted these. Just couldn't really do it without painting them. They look kind of ugly. And of course, there was a lot of bare metal too, so we wanted to prevent rust. Anyway, they are ready to install. So we'll get some nuts and bolts and see how this works. Okay, so we're going to bolt these down, and we're going to use some nylon washers here in between the two pieces of steel. I'm hoping that's going to cut down on squeaky noise as we drive down the road. So we're just going to bolt these together now. And we'll do that on the other side. There we go. No squeak. All right, we'll just do that 6 more times, and this part of the bed will be done. Okay, that worked pretty well. We've got all 7 of these in. The next thing is we're going to cut some slats of wood to lay down going this way, and that's what our mattress will fit on. So we measured these edge pieces. They are 80 inches long. So we're going to cut all of our slats down to 80 inches. So we'll get on that next. Okay, well, we got all of these cut. They're all 80 inches long. If you notice the ones on the edge here, they're a bit wider. That's because our mattress is not going to go all the way to the edge of the van. We're going to have a little bit of room on the sides for water bottles or, you know, cell phones or whatever it is while we're sleeping. And we don't want them falling through the cracks. So we are going to put these guys, these are 1x2s we picked up at Lowe's, really nice ones. They're going to be strapped together kind of like an IKEA bed. So we're going to put staples through these to hold them in place. And that's how it's going together. The way we attached these was, because the bolts are exposed, I had to accommodate those with a countersink. So we used a spade bit for that. It just went about 1/4 inch deep here. Except at each end, we went all the way through the whole board, because we're going to use a 2-inch bolt right through here, right through the frame, and that's going to hold the whole thing together, and that'll hold these edge pieces tight against the wall. So the next thing we're going to do is start stapling these all together. We've already measured, and we know that the space between each one of these needs to be 2 3/8 inches. So we've got these little spacers at 2 3/8 inches. We're going to put one at each end, you know, kind of like that, and then we're going to start stapling all the way across. So we'll get to that next. Okay, so we got a few of these stapled. This is just what we're doing. Just kind of going like that. And so on.
In place.
We've got our spacers in there, so we're making sure that we're at the right distance. Once we get to the end of this row, we'll come back, we'll add some more of these additional boards and do the whole thing again until we get all the way across. Okay, it went pretty well. We've got our IKEA bed here. It's mounted. We turned this upside down so the straps are on the bottom, and they're pretty rigid. So the bed is almost done. The last thing we're going to do is, we did cut a couple of bed rails short like this, because you may remember earlier in the video I showed you these rails on the side here. There's nothing holding this end up. So that's what these are going to do. These are just going to be feet going right down to the floor like that. So we'll bolt those on, and this thing's done. Okay, well, we've bolted these together, so this piece is done. We did that on both sides. We still need to put a attachment to the floor somehow, but basically this bed is done. So there it is. We'll put some pricing, how much we paid for this whole thing, in the description below. But if you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you like, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.